Greetings. I'm Dr. Eric Gill, the Director of Theological Field Education, and I'm so excited to walk with you on this theological journey of vocational exploration. I just want you to know that Theological Field Education is a supervised experiential learning opportunity that's going to pull together your academic theological work and real life pragmatic practice. And I just wanted to provide for you a step-by-step guide on what it takes for you to apply to theological field education here at Phillips Theological Seminary. I want you to have the full scope on what it takes to be a part of this program that's going to give you an opportunity to develop your pastoral identity, leadership skills, and spiritual formation in a real-world context. So the first question is, what is required to participate in theological field education? The first requirement of applying to theological field education is the completion of phase 1 of your course requirements. Upon completion of phase 1, you'll get in contact with me, Dr. Gill, the Director of Theological Field Education. The second question, how long does theological field education take? Theological field education is a 2-semester course. You will be with me in the fall and in the spring. The first semester of the fall, we will interrogate your internal call to ministry. And then in the second semester, we will begin to do your external vocational work and see what it's like for you to apply all the things that you learned in your seminary journey in a pragmatic way. So, how do you apply to theological field education? The registration process begins at the Phillips Theological Seminary webpage under the Academic Resources tab. Under that tab, you will find the Theological Field Education application. Once you fill out the application, which will ask you for a few things, I will receive an email. The few things that the application are going to ask you for is not only your name and some of your information, but also what are your theological field education and vocational goals. It'll also ask you for placement because theological field education is an internship or a placement process. We want you to do the work that you've been studying here at Phillips. So where will you intern at? It'll also ask you for a supervisor and a mentor. To go more in depth about what placement is going to look like for you, placement can take place wherever you might be serving in a ministerial capacity. It also might take place at a nonprofit organization. It might take place at a social justice institute. We also, here at Phillips, have integrated CPE into the placement process. You can do clinical pastoral education, and that go towards your field education credit. All you have to do is put where you're going in the TFE application that's found on the Phillips Theological Seminary webpage. Again, under the Academic Resources tab. Once you have your placement, it's important that you identify a mentor or supervisor, someone to walk along with you in that context, someone who is familiar with you as well as the context that you're serving in. We'll ask that that supervisor meet with you monthly, sign an ethics statement. Upon meeting with me and your supervisor will think through the best way for us to craft the theological journey for you here at Phillips through the Theological Field Education program. We'll use the information and feedback from you and the goals that you have to craft how we are going to organize the second semester of your theological journey. I am so excited to walk with you along this journey of theological exploration, of internal interrogation. Again, I'm Dr. Eric Gill, the Director of Theological Field Education. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email, eric.gill@ptstulsa.edu.